We have a super busy day today. I am out here in my studio at my house. We have a separate little building here. I apologize, it's a little bit of a mess. We have a separate building at our house that we use just for our business, and it's awesome. You can see we've got kind of a little studio set up here. But we have a really busy day today. I'm gonna take you guys along for a ride, and let's just get started. So right now it's 8:15, kids are sleeping, and we're ready to go. So we gotta hit the road and head out to Shakopee for a final walkthrough for someone who has a closing today at 11. Let's go. One of the things that I don't like about our house is we have a detached garage. So when it's raining, you have to run to your car if you forgot your umbrella. All right, let's go. So we are in the car right now. We are headed to Shakopee. We've got a final walkthrough for closing today at 11. At final walkthroughs, what we typically do is we make sure all the burners on the range work, the oven works, the toilet's flush, the sinks are working, there's no leaks. We have no problems getting hot water, the shower heads are all working, stuff like that. Making sure there's no cracks in the windows, they didn't scuff up the walls really bad when they were moving things out. Yeah, kind of just doing one last pass before we sign the documents, or not we, I'm not the one buying the house, but the client signs the documents and the house becomes hers. So yeah, that'll be really fun. We'll take a picture with the ZOLD sign, we'll give her a gift, and then we got to get in the car real fast and head to Eagan. We have a showing in Eagan. All right, so we just wrapped up walkthrough in Shakopee for a townhome, cute little townhome. Really excited by her. It's just the sweetest girl ever. So yeah, really excited about her. Now we are first heading to get some coffee because I got up late. I got a late start, so I didn't have time to make coffee or get coffee before the appointment. And that is a must. Probably we'll stop at a Caribou or a Starbucks. Then we're going to meander our way down Highway 13. We're gonna head over to Eagan. I have a showing. This is actually a first showing for a new client of ours. This is a mother who is going to be selling the home that she raised her family in, and that can be really challenging for a lot of people. So we are kind of getting her toes in the water with looking at some different things and different options for her, and we'll see what she thinks. I actually tell everybody we've kind of established this weird niche. We do a lot of younger people, and then we also do a lot of their parents. So the whole like moving out of the house I raised my kids in and the emotions and stuff that go along with that, we're really good at handling those situations because we do them really often. So I'm really good at walking people through kind of how to deal with that. And I think a lot of our clients who raise their families in these houses and were there for 20 years and have made just these amazing memories, they really struggle at first. And then I have the conversation with them that they're really buying into a different lifestyle, one that's gonna make kind of their new way of life more simple, right? So usually by this time they've got, you know, their kids are married and are either thinking about having kids or have kids, so that means they have grandkids. And it's like, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this house is beautiful, you might love living here, but what would it mean for you and for your grandkids if instead of spending 2 hours a week mowing the grass, you took them to the zoo or whatever, right? Like you're buying this new lifestyle that has your snow and lawn taken care of, or it just is the easy button. And I think people start to see that and they start to get excited about, like, okay, why are we doing this? And once they really understand that piece of it, the rest of it gets easy. So while I'm driving, what am I listening to? Depends. It's Friday, so I should probably jam some tunes today. I should probably put something on that really slaps. But I'm like everybody else. I love podcasts. I would say the podcasts that I spend the most time listening to are pretty much only business related. I really like Ed Milet. I like Gary Vee. I think Gary Vee is someone that I actually relate to on a lot of levels. Not because he's a genius and he's a bajillionaire. That's not what I'm talking about. But when he talks about his childhood, he was, you know, not a great student, but he was kind of the class clown that everybody liked. it's kind of how I was. So I resonate a lot with Gary and the way he thinks. Some other podcasts I really like. I'm huge on Bigger Pockets. I'm very passionate about investing, and Think Like a CEO is another one that I really like. I idolize Gary Keller. I think he's an absolute genius. He is the Steve Jobs of real estate, whether you want to admit it or not. Oh, every now and then, it's pretty rare, but I love like true crime podcasts. Like Counterclock is fascinating to me, and I can't wait for season 5 to come out. So I need coffee. We're in the line at Starbucks. People ask if I'm Starbucks or Caribou. I like both, but I found that Caribou just doesn't pick me up like Starbucks does. Starbucks Nitro, that stuff like it makes me shake, which sometimes is good, sometimes it's not. So, we're at Starbucks. It's one of those days.
Starbucks, what can I get started for you?
Yeah, can I do a grande nitro cold brew and
Sure.
the egg white bites?
Yeah, anything else?
That is it.
$10.93.
Thank you. Hey, how are you? I'll do Apple Pay. Thank you. Oh, we got it. Oh, it's so smooth. It reminds me of like the consistency of a Guinness. If you've ever had a Guinness, it's the bomb. All right, so I got to make a phone call here. I'm calling a co-op agent, so that is the agent on the other side of a deal. I have the buyer, she has the seller, and we are going through some negotiations. So we are under contract. We had our inspection. Overall inspection went pretty well. There were some things though that needed to be addressed, and so in lieu of giving the seller a whole list of things to repair, we are just asking for a radon system and then $5,000 toward closing costs, which sounds steep, but some of the repairs that this place needs are kind of extreme. So I'm gonna give her a call right now. Okay, just leaving our showing in Eagan. Went well. The unit was a little bit worn or beat up, I guess I would say. She liked the location. She didn't love the unit. So back to the drawing board. We're gonna go look at some more. But a few things that I sometimes forget is how overwhelming this can be for a lot of consumers, right? Buyers and sellers. She is preparing to sell the home that she raised her kids in, and we had our stager go out there last week and help her with some things, and she just absolutely loved her and really helped her prepare and answered a lot of her questions. So that's really good. That made her feel a lot better about things, and it's still overwhelming. So her biggest concerns are logistics with how do we work the sale to land in the same time as the purchase? Does she have to have all her stuff out? And we just have, there's so many things that we can do as to simplify the experience, like whether you're a buyer or a seller. Like we have little hacks, we have things we can put in contracts, we have all sorts of little tools to make things as easy as we can. But not everybody values the same tricks and tips. There's just a lot of little things we can do, you guys. So don't let the overwhelm of this process stop you from doing it. And if you have concerns, you have to let us know those concerns right up front, and you have to be really honest and straightforward with us, because that's how we diagnose, right? That's how we prescribe the pill to get you on the straight and narrow and easy path to closing. So, all right, now we are headed to, I've got a closing at 11. We are not attending closing. We don't typically attend closings anymore. Once COVID hit, we all realized that it doesn't really make sense for us to be there. So now closings are really just a closer. The representative from the title company is the closer, and the buyer. And it's really awesome because they're usually in and out in like 30 minutes or less. Whereas typically back in the day, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when people would all go to closing because you'd have a buyer there, a seller there, their agent, their closer, our agent, our closer, and it was just like 6 people sitting at this conference room table talking, and it just really was distracting and slowed things down. So closings have gotten a lot more efficient, and I am headed to Chaska now to sit down with a lovely family that is looking at building a new home. So we went from our home in Burnsville today out to Shakopee. We went across town over to Eagan. Now we are heading back over to Chaska. We've got a little bit of a break, so we will go home for a couple of hours, film a couple pieces for a new YouTube video, and then I have a listing appointment at 3 o'clock, and then I have a showing in St. Louis Park in Bloomington at 5 o'clock. So pretty busy day, a lot of running around, but I really enjoy this part of it. I love being on the run and spending time with people, especially consumers. I love the consumer. Okay, we are leaving a meeting, a really great meeting with Robert Thomas in Victoria, and it's really interesting. We were kind of just crunching some numbers. I've got a buyer who is really firm on budget. They were looking for up to like basically 600 back when the interest rates were really low, and then the interest rates basically doubled in like a matter of weeks, which kind of priced them out of the market for a while. And with rates sort of taking a little bit of a decrease and buyer demand slowing down a little bit, they are now kind of back in the game. This is really fun because it kind of gets us back into doing what I like to do, which is be creative and figure out ways to make things work. What I mean by that, don't focus so much on the price of the property as you do the payment and how we can get there. And there's a couple different ways we can get there. The price on the property we were looking at as their main option is about $525,000. Well, there's a deal going right now with Robert Thomas where they're doing a $25,000 credit to the first 3 non-contingent buyers. And so we're going to be able to take advantage of that credit, which will knock it down to $500,000. There's some other little line items we can play with that we can knock that number down to about $480,000. And then there's also an incentive of $7,500 toward closing costs. Well, the really great thing about this buyer is that they've got enough equity in their current home that when we sell it, they don't necessarily need that cash toward closing costs, but we may be able to put that $7,500 toward a rate buy down. So now all of a sudden we've chiseled away and got that price down as low as we possibly can. And then hopefully that $7,500 we can put toward the rate buy down, and maybe if rates go down even more between now and the time that they can lock, which is going to be really extended because they're building, so it's not going to be done until May. They have plenty of time to kind of figure out when they want to lock, what numbers are looking like, and then that hopefully will put them in a really nice place. So one other thing that you should consider when you build a house is the monthly payment is going to be significantly lower, most likely, in that first year. And the reason being is because you are paying taxes based on the value of the vacant lot. Anyways, so now we are headed to a existing home that was found by the same buyer, actually. So we're just going to kind of go compare what their money can get them. And then my 3 o'clock in Rosemont actually canceled. We rescheduled for Monday. So we have a little bit of a gap. We're going to head back to the studio. And then I've got my last showing starting at 5 o'clock in Bloomington and St. Louis Park, and then our day will be done. Okay, so we just wrapped up a showing in Chaska. So the couple that I was going through the build process with this morning with Robert Thomas is also considering existing homes. So we went and checked out one not far away from the build site, and the price on that one was $500,000. It's so interesting to see what new construction gets you versus existing. There's obviously, like anything, there's pros and cons to each one. In this case, we felt like at $500,000 you got kind of like a not impressive master bathroom. The whole floor plan felt a little bit small, but you got a way better lot. And that sort of lot, it was on a pond, had a full fence, full deck. All that stuff would be additional cost if you were to build. So just weighing pros and cons and what's important to them. If privacy is important, they maybe would lean toward the existing. If the actual home itself is a little bit more important, then maybe they'll lean toward having bright, shiny, and new, and appliances that are in good shape, mechanicals, furnace, AC, all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they choose. A few things that have transpired during the morning. It's now 2 o'clock, so a few things that have happened here while we've been in and out of appointments. We did get an offer accepted on a condo in Edina, so that's super exciting. Our buyer is signing that, or actually has already signed that, so next up will be the inspection on that. We have had a couple showings on some listings of ours. Hopefully we can get those wrapped up. We are still going back and forth on some negotiations with the buyer that I spoke about this morning on the $5,000 in seller paid closing costs. One of the things they came back with was they were offering $7,000 for us to remove the home sale contingency, which I don't know if the buyer will be comfortable doing that, but it's an option. So it just shows you guys though that there's a lot of back and forth and some push, some pull, some ideas, and that's what it takes to get these done sometimes. Okay, so we're back at the studio. I got a lot done here this afternoon, but now we are getting ready to jump back in the car. We're gonna head up to St. Louis Park in Bloomington to show 2 properties to a past client of ours that is now getting into the investing game. So we are gonna go check out a couple properties and see if they are good investments. I will share with you more about the properties once I leave there, and I will give you the pros and cons so you guys can understand what it is that we are looking for when we go and check out investments. So this is our dog, Mia. She's the shop dog. That's what we call her, shop dog. Here we go. Hi, Mia. Say, oof, oof. Yeah, good girl. Just leaving the last showing of the day in St. Louis Park. We had a plan to go to Bloomington. That house had an offer on it, and the buyer decided to look at another one in St. Louis Park instead. So we did 2 here. One of them has some potential. I would say the downside is there's not a lot of value add opportunity. One of the things we look for when we're buying investment properties or helping our clients buy investment properties is value add. And what we mean by that is there a place where you could add a bedroom, or could you turn it into a multifamily, or could you add a bathroom? Things like that that are gonna make the house worth more, or add a garage. In this case, there wasn't really much. What we came to was that it's a little bit of a safe bet because you can pretty much rent it the day you buy it, but the opportunity to grow from an appreciation standpoint is just not as good as if you were to buy something that you could put some value into. That was that one, and then the second one we went to was 225, just 2 blocks away. It was an absolute dump. The wood floors were covered in black stains, which means animals probably peed on it. We got in there, did about 2 minutes on the main level. I walked out because I couldn't take the smell. They went down to the basement, and that one is pretty much eliminated. So sounds like we might be writing an offer on the first one. I love helping people you know, grow wealth through this. This is super fun for me to watch people change their lives through real estate. All right, so that concludes our day on the road. Probably came off as a little bit boring because I literally was in the car like half the day, but now I'm going home to see my kids. I can't wait to see them. It's already 6 o'clock, which means it's Hawkins' bedtime. I told Karissa to make sure she keeps him awake for me so I can see him before he goes to sleep. I hope you enjoyed following us around today. If you enjoy spending time with us, or you enjoy some of the content that we have on the channel, I hope you will subscribe. Tell all your friends. We are very intentional and we are very purposeful about the content that we put out on all of our social media, but especially on our YouTube channel. We really want to make sure that everything that we post provides value or information in some way, shape, or form to help the consumer make better decisions. I hope you feel that. Nowhere in our videos are you going to catch us boasting about the appointments we're going on, or the car we're driving, or the watch we're wearing, or the shoes we have on our feet. That stuff's just not important to us. So I hope you guys learned something, and I'm looking forward to doing another one of these. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Hello. How are you guys? Hi, Hawkman. Hi, buddy. Daddy. Hi, Zoe. Arr, he's a pirate. Oh, nice. Hi, Hawken. Hi, buddy.
He's a bubble bath tailor.
Hello. You had to sit in the wet part. What are you doing?